Hello YouTubers. I want to give you a quick rundown. I haven't been able to find a video pertaining to this, and it probably would have saved me a little bit of money if I could have found one. So I'm going to try to make a comparison video for some 50s that are out there if you have a kid from 3 to 7 and they're riding motorcycles or getting into it. I'm going to give you some facts, some upgrades I found really handy, and hopefully that gives you some options and some information to make an educated purchase. So first off, I've got the PW50. PW50 is a staple. It's been around forever. Great little two-stroke machine. It's about 92 pounds. It has a seat height in around 20 inches. It's very linear, very smooth. This bike has a top speed of around 35 miles an hour with my kid on it. My kid's about 45 pounds and about 44 inches tall. To give you guys a reference, he's very comfortable on this bike, flat-footed, and loves it. The problem with this bike was the suspension. You only have about 2.5 inches of travel front and rear nominally, which becomes a problem when they start jumping. And my kid likes to do the motocross thing, so I had to look for other options. But before I move on to what I did, I'm going to give you some of the upgrades we did that we found really helpful. The biggest thing were the tires. We put a 170-110 Dunlop on the rear and a 60-110 on the front. This was huge. It increased his confidence, gave him better grip, made the bike handle better. I can't stress how much these things help this motorcycle out. Also, we did the foot peg upgrade. These are like 13 bucks on Amazon. Way better than the little rubber guys. Gives their boots something to dig into and a larger platform. Also, I've got another video on a little muffler upgrade I do. It's free, it takes about 10 minutes, and it actually, in my opinion, improved mid-range to top end on this bike and made it sound a little louder, which he liked as well. So PW50, 20-inch seat height, about 92 pounds. Suspension is not so great. Bike, other than that, is wonderful with a top speed of around 35 miles an hour. This bike is a French bike. It's a YCF50. This bike is very, very similar to the Ktm Mini in size and features, but it is a 4-stroke machine, so it lacks a little bit in the power and the engine department. This bike weighs 95 pounds, although it is electric start, which is awesome and the kids love it. It is also an automatic, but only has a top speed of about 25 miles an hour, so it's lacking about 10 miles an hour compared to the PW. The suspension on this is great. You get about 5 inches of travel in the front, maybe 6 inches in the rear, and it's super reliable. So if you've got a kid that's just starting out or running around the backyard or running around the field or not really truly jumping big jumps or needing the speed or acceleration to get over one obstacle to the next when they're real close, this is probably a pretty good option for you. It comes in around the same price as a PW, at about 1,400 bucks. PWs I think are a little bit more. I bought this out of Brooksville from Extreme Kids MX. Great folks to deal with. If you're looking for one, they no freight, no prep, none of that stuff. So this bike does have disc brakes, front and rear, hydraulic, which is good. The upgrades we did to this, we did foot pegs, just like on the PW. I had to change the fork oil on the front. The fork oil on the front was really thick. The rebound was super slow. I went with a maximum 15 weight. It made the forks rebound about the speed I wanted, which improved the handling of the bike drastically. This bike comes with a 9-tooth front sprocket. I put a 10 on it. It helped give it a little more speed, and will probably increase the life of the chain a little bit so it's not so tight. The other thing I was kind of not happy with when I bought this bike is this was a big plastic cover with no chain derailleur. My kid was at the motocross track and the chain actually came off the sprocket, caused him to crash. So I did some measuring, got online. I put this derailleur on. It's been great. Anyone who's interested, shoot me a message. I'll send you the link. I think it was like 20 bucks on Amazon. Other than that, this bike is great. It's solid, it runs good. I've had no real issues with it. It looks good, the kids love it. So good bike, really solid. Just little slower than what we needed to ride the motocross. That leads us to the last bike, which is a KTM Mini. This bike is very similar in the YCF to features. It's about 22 inches seat height, so it's about a ½ inch taller than the YCF and about 2 inches taller than the PW. This bike is the lightest at, I think, 90 pounds, 88 pounds, something like that. It's also an automatic. This bike is a liquid cooled 2-stroke, so it's a little more temperamental, but it's a lot faster. Not really sure the true top speed on this bike. We haven't clocked it yet. I think it's going to be in the neighborhood around 40 miles an hour. But the acceleration on this thing, man, this thing rips. So between obstacles, if you got a kid that's riding motocross and needs to jump, land, and get the speed to jump again, this is going to be what you're going to want. The suspension is very similar to the YCF. You've got, 4 inches of travel in the front, 5 inches in the rear, which is more than enough for these kids to jump these jumps. It comes with, like Dunlops or what I consider real tires, front and rear. It's ready to go. The only thing we did to this bike was we put this hump in here, and I've got a seat on order. And what this does is this bike accelerates so hard that I found my kid was sliding off the place he needed to be sitting and winding up in the back of the bike, which just created handling issues and ergonomic issues and bad habits. So, but this bike, I think new these bikes are in the neighborhood of $5,000. We picked this one up from a friend of mine at D4 Power Sports. He gave me a really good deal on it. It is an automatic. It does have an adjustable clutch, so you can kind of adjust how the power comes in. But if you got a kid who's a little more advanced, doing the motocross thing, or need a bike that runs and accelerates and things like that, you're probably going to wind up needing to go with the KTM Mini or a Cobra or something along that line. You got someone who's just kind of trail riding or putting around the yard or learning how to do it and don't really want them going that fast or need that acceleration, the YCF is the way to go. And if you want something that's, tried and true and tested, but the suspension isn't that great, the PW50 is probably your best bet. So, hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to help you. Like I said, I basically bought this trying not to buy that. And I wish I would have been able to find one of these videos. And to give you a comparison on the YCF, if anybody's ever seen a CRF50 in first gear, that's about how this bike runs and performs. So, like I said, any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments section. I do have a link to the muffler spark arrestor modification for the PW. Otherwise, please like and subscribe. Thank you.